With the exception of Nuke, every map in Counter-Strike 2 has some form of a mid. Usually it's the most contested area on the map, so that's why you'll often see mid smokes being thrown right at the beginning of the round. So that's why today we're going to be taking a look at what I consider to be the most useful mid smokes that you can throw on every map in CS2. But before we dive straight in, I want to thank today's sponsor, SkinsMonkey. So, SkinsMonkey is an automated CS2 trading site that provides an instant way for you to get new skins. All you have to do is select your old skins that you don't want anymore and then pick out some fresh ones to trade for. It's as easy as that. And right now you could get a free $5 if you use code TACTICS on the site. And finally, you could get up to a 35% deposit bonus when using my code. So thanks again to SkinsMonkey for sponsoring this video. Links in the description. So let's go ahead and get started with Mirage. The most iconic mid smoke in the game is for window. And while it's an extremely common smoke, it's not the easiest to hit. It gets missed by one of my teammates almost every single game. So let's learn how to do this properly. I learned this method from Rops early on into CS2. If you get stuck right here into this corner beside the trash can and just go to the left of this dark stain along the wall, you can go to the far left of the white here and just hold D and then do a jump throw. You're gonna wanna hold D all the way through that jump throw. You don't wanna release it too early or it might miss. This, in my opinion, is the most consistent way to get this lineup to work. And as you can see, it goes pretty far back. So if someone's standing back here, they really have no chance to see through this smoke. Now, you might have noticed window isn't the only place the CTs are going to be engaging you from. Knowing how to smoke cat, connector, and cross are all vital to taking mid control on this map. Now, luckily, you can throw all three of these smokes from the exact same position. I'll go ahead and show them off right here very quickly, just so that you can see how easy these are to throw. As you can see, in one rapid succession, I have thrown this beautiful connector smoke that has no gap spilling up from the top, a nice cross smoke that will block you both from mid window and from cat as you're getting up to here, and of course, we have a good old cat smoke that's going to also cover off the ladder room. Now, I'll slow it down and show you each one individually. And of course, you don't want to throw all three of these. Generally, you're going to omit one or two to push one of those directions. So starting off with the connector smoke, it's very easy. You go up to the first step up on the right side of the rug. So right here, this is the first step up from the bottom, and do a simple jump throw. That's going to go all the way up here. It's going to bank off the side and it's going to land on this first step. And unlike most of the other first step smokes, this one every single time will fill all the way up to the top to where there is no gap. So this is the best one to throw in my opinion. Of course, it is a little bit lurky, but that's kind of the price you've got to pay if you want it to go all the way up to the top from that position. Now for the cat smoke from that exact same position, I would go to the very end of this leaf right here, but I prefer to go to this angle in the corner between this part of the roof and this part right here. A simple jump throw, and that's going to go all the way up here. And I'll show you why I like this one a little bit better. It lands a little bit further out to the left to where not only does it smoke off cat and ladder room, it also takes away this angle right here. So they have a harder time hiding behind this position and peeking out and fighting. The other smoke, if it's thrown a bit deeper, like somewhere around here, they can still kind of push through this smoke and hold an angle like this, which I definitely don't like. The other reason I like throwing it that far up is because it blocks visibility into connector from up here on top of the bricks. For example, if the smoke were to be further back, again, they would be able to see right over this thing and shoot anyone going into con. And finally, the easiest of the three is just a simple left click at the very top of this antenna. This is the mid cross smoke, but it does land a little bit better. Wraith actually taught me this one on stream because when you're crossing, you're also covered from connector. Your standard cross smoke that most teams were throwing was landing a little bit further up here. And as you're crossing, you're definitely exposed to someone peeking out of connector. So if you're coming out late, this one is definitely the way to go. And of course, for mid window, there are a ton of instant spawn lineups. So if you have the stomach to memorize all of these, definitely go for it. I'm going to show them on screen very briefly. I'm not going to go into too much detail into the explanations on them. You can feel free to pause, check these out, rewind. But what I'm going to actually showcase is a workshop map that allows you to practice all of these. So I definitely recommend doing that instead because it can be very, very useful. So again, I'm just showing all these off. This is the last one right here to the left. These are all of the spawns. Are just going to go to this position here, and all these are just simple W jump throws. As you can see, I have not missed a single one, and typically you want them landing out towards the left so that it's going to cover up this obstacle right here, because if it's too far out to the right, they may be able to see through and pick you as you're coming out into mid. If you want to practice this yourself, go ahead and click that workshop link down in the description. So at the time of recording this video, I didn't realize that this map was a little bit outdated. However, you can still use spawn 5, 10, 11, 12, and 9 to practice. As you can see, they should be pretty much the exact same as my video, and you're just going to practice with those W jump throws, and they should still hit all the same. So now that we've gotten our longer one out of the way, let's move on over to a similarly structured mid in Ancient. Much like Mirage's window, Red Room on Ancient is vital to smoke, along with Donut and the top of Heaven or Snake. So when it comes to smoking Red Room, the easiest lineup is if you go right here along this corner. You can do a simple jump throw just above this little triangle right here, and that every single time should go up here. It's going to take a couple of bounces and land right here in the dead center of Red Room. From that exact same position, if you do a simple jump throw at the bottom of this light strip right here, that's going to be your perfect donut smoke. And the reason I like this thing to come out a lot further, as you can see, it's further out here, which almost makes it seem a bit lurky. The reason I like this is because if it goes a lot deeper, they can use this position right here as cover to kind of peek out and fight with you. So I'd much prefer it to be a little bit further out at the sacrifice of it being a bit lurky. But if for whatever reason you do want it to go deeper from that exact same position, instead of aiming right here, you can just go to the left and up a little bit into the middle of this little triangle that's cut out from this tree. Very loose, very forgiving, but it should land right here a little bit deeper without spilling out too far. Or if you'd rather just smoke off Heaven from that exact same position, you can just do a simple jump throw in between these two triangles right here. That should go all the way up, bank off the side wall, and completely smoke this region off so that your teammates can safely push up towards Cave. Since there's only 5 spawns on Ancient, it's actually very easy to learn the instant lineups because there's only 3 that are open enough to be able to throw them right off of spawn. And luckily, the same creator from the Mirage instant lineups has made one for Ancient, so I'm going to link that down in the description if you want to practice them this way. On the CT perspective, being able to throw the instant elbow smoke is just as important. This will win you games if the enemy team doesn't know how to deal with it. Luckily, as you can see in the background, this workshop map covers those as well. Or if you're just completely allergic to spawn lineups, you can go right here into this corner, go up from this position up to this black spot and just do a W jump throw, and that should go all the way up and land down here relatively quickly. So you're not losing too much time. This could work out fairly well in pugs, especially if you have teammates that are mollying down here early on. But hey, whatever works for you. So now let's look at one of the most simple maps in the game when it comes to smoking mid, and that is Dust 2. So starting off with Xbox, there are 2 very easy ways to do this. One is you're going to go right here into this corner. You're just going to get right along it, and you're going to do a simple jump throw in the lower left-hand quadrant of this window. This one is not all that precise and fairly easy to hit. You don't have to put that much thought into it, and every single time it's usually going to land right here on top of Xbox, completely smoking off, so you can pass up to Cat unscathed. Another very easy Xbox smoke is if you go right here into this corner, you can do a simple jump throw right here at this corner. There's this little chip in the wall right there, right along the roof. You do a simple jump throw, and that one is even easier. It's just going to land right there on top of Xbox, again, smoking it off completely. Or if you'd rather just pressure Cat from lower or vice versa, if you go right into the middle of this line, stand up and just do a simple jump throw in the middle of this dot. Every single time that smoke is going to bounce off the back of this door, and it's going to spread up all the way to the very top to where there's no gap whatsoever. Or if you're wanting to smoke mid doors from lower, maybe you're wanting to rotate up towards Cat, well, you can get stuck right here along this corner and do a left and right click throw at the top right of this window. That should land right here and completely bleed down to smoke off this position, allowing you to very safely cross. And of course, once you've established control of mid, if you want to split through mid to B, well, if you get stuck right here into this corner, crouch down, find this plank, go to the right bolt, all the way over to the front right side of the plank and do a crouching jump throw. Well, that smoke's going to bank off the side here and land on top of this box, completely smoking it off to the roof to where they can't spot you as you're pushing up to the doors. The old CSGO version of this smoke allows them to see right over it and shoot you as you're crossing up to doors. And sometimes if it lands a little bit further out, they can even see you as you're pushing up into the window, which is absolutely terrible. Moving on over to Vertigo, mid control on this map is a little bit different. Before you're throwing any smokes for mid, you first got to take control of that elevator T-hall region and work your way out. Once you get there though, you have a bunch of different options for smoking mid. So in my opinion, the most important smoke to learn for mid on Vertigo is one that's going to land right here and allow you to split mid to B. So the easiest way and safest way to do that, in my opinion, is going right here into this corner, and I'm going to aim in the middle of this bottom stack of planks, and I'm just going to do a nice little run jump throw after a few steps. That smoke is going to go pretty far all the way back here, completely smoking off this region, allowing you to go up here and out through connector without getting spotted. As you can see here, if I place a bot and someone's back on this position, well, they can't see anything. Or if you'd rather just smoke off Guardian or Connector, you can get stuck right here into this corner and just do a simple left click throw on the left-hand side of this dark line right here. That should land right here towards the middle of Con, completely smoking it off. And after this one fully blooms in, it takes the possibility away of them standing on top of spools and completely smokes all this off without lurking down to cover anyone that's hiding behind sandbag. Now, if you'd rather split through CT instead, you can smoke off elevators by just getting stuck right here into this corner and just doing a crouching W jump throw at the very bottom of this pole right under the ramp. That is going to bank right off of the steel beam and completely smoke off elevators so that you can now split in towards CT. Or if you'd rather split mid to A, you can get stuck right here into this same corner, and you can just do a simple left click throw at this dark smudge at the top blue part of this box. It's this one on the far left. There's 3 larger smudges. You're going to go to the left one, and as you can see, that's going to land right here in the dead center of CT, allowing you to split in towards A. I do have one very cool CT smoke to throw from Wraith. Essentially what you're going to do is as you're rounding this corner and running out towards here, the second you get to the sandbags, you're going to look up to the top of this metal bar right in between this gap between these 2 bars, right? So you're going to aim right here, and you're going to do a run throw and release the second your crosshair hits the bottom. So it's going to look something like this. Now that's going to bank on the inside here, and it's going to completely smoke wall off the entirety of this region right here. So in one fluid motion, it's just going to look something like this. As you can see, this thing's going to bounce up here into the ceiling tiles and waterfall straight down. So now let's move on over to Inferno. When it comes to mid control on this map, there's nothing more important than the FaZe mid smoke that lands right here in the dead center. So there are only 6 spawns on Inferno, making it very easy to learn all of these instant lineups. Starting off with the original FaZe instant mid smoke, it was from this spawn right here. This is the furthest back possible spawn towards the middle of this hook right here. So if you have this spawn, it's pretty easy to remember. You're just going to find this double roof, and on the far left of it, along this circle, you're just going to do a W jump throw. And just like that, this smoke is going to bounce off the left wall here, and it's going to completely smoke off the dead center of mid, allowing you to get aggressive down here towards the T's and even fight towards alt mid if you want. According to Refrag, this is spawn 0 and this is spawn 1. If you end up getting spawn 1, instead of just aiming right here on this left circle, you're going to go to the middle of this roof and just a little bit higher. It's not that precise. Don't worry about putting too much thought into it, but every single time, just like the other one, it's going to take a nice little bounce and it's going to land right here towards the middle, completely smoking this off to where there is no visibility on either side of this smoke. In my opinion, spawn 2 is the easiest to throw because it's just a simple jump throw instead of a W jump throw. You're simply going to find this little circle right here on the left side of this wooden support on the roof. And again, it's just a very simple jump throw. And that's going to go all the way up. And just like the others, it's going to completely smoke off mid without any gaps. Spawn 3 is also very basic. You're just going to go from this notch right here down to this angle and do a simple jump throw, and just like the others, it should land perfectly. Spawn 4 is your closest spawn to this door right here, and it's also very easy. You're just going to go down from this support beam to this little chip in the side of the wall and aim right into the middle of it, and again, a basic jump throw, and that, just like the others, is going to land right in the middle. And finally, spawn 5 is the dead center here, and all you're going to need to do is go from the very top of this portion of the roof where it meets with the bottom of this portion and just go a little bit out to the left. It's not a very precise lineup, and just do a basic jump throw. And again, just like the previous 5, that is going to land right here in the dead center and completely smoke off mid, as you can see. And if you can't be bothered to learn all of the instant smokes, if you go right here to where these wires make an X and just do a simple W jump throw right here at this little divot along the roof, well, that should go all the way up and still land fast enough to beat the T-side timings. The most common way for teams to counter those FaZe instant mid smokes on T side is they're going to get stuck into this corner right here and do a simple jump throw at the very top middle of this window. This smoke's going to go all the way up into top mid, and it's going to split off any sort of crossfire, right? So if you have someone playing Arch, well, they can't support anyone over here on Porch if you decide to push through that smoke. But even better yet, it makes it to where they can't hold angles like this while watching bottom mid. So they're going to have to push up in front of that, making them way more exposed to any sort of aggression from alt mid to counter that FaZe smoke. So now let's talk about Anubis. There are quite a few options when it comes to throwing smokes out of spawn, and especially when it comes to pressuring mid. So early on into Anubis back in CSGO, I definitely favored going into this corner right here, keeping it simple and doing a simple jump throw at the top left of this portion of the building, and then another jump throw right here where this tarp intersects with this plank for the Ebox smokes. We've got the house or the mid window smoke, as well as the Ebox smoke right here, completely smoking off both of these positions with no gaps. However, in CS2, there are a couple of better ways to do it. Obviously, there are instant smokes, but now that they've added in 11 total spawns, I don't expect the average player to remember every single instant smoke for both of these positions from these spots. However, a quicker way to throw the mid smoke, instead of, say you get a spawn over here, well, it takes a while to run all the way into this corner. So what I do now is I use this pillar right here. I just go into the middle of it and do a simple jump throw down here towards the bottom right of this white sheet. This is a very, very forgiving lineup. It's very difficult to mess up. I'll go ahead and demonstrate. If you were to just go even on the far right of this thing and jump throw, right, it's gonna land in there, no problem, just like before. Same with the far left. Very difficult to miss this one. So you can just very quickly just run right into the middle of here and no problem. Now, of course, from that exact same pillar, you could also smoke off Ebox by doing a simple jump throw at the bottom left of this yellow towel, and it's gonna land right here and do the job. But I prefer going right here into the front of this plank and just going just above this little circle right here and doing a simple jump through. Now this smoke is going to go all the way down onto the inside of the Ebox. It's going to drop straight down through this hole. It does take a little while to land, but why I like this one so much is that it lands right here and completely smokes off this region. So you can actually push in here and take this control since they're completely smoked off. And if you end up going fast B, well, you have a perfect smoke here on Ebox to help out with the hit. So now let's talk about some closer up utility for mid. Say we want to smoke off house from right here. Well, you can just go right square along this corner and do a simple left click throw in the middle of this white spot right here along the wall. That smoke should go all the way inside of here and completely smoke off house, just like this. That's a really good smoke to throw if you're trying to push up a little bit later in the round and you don't want to run all the way back to spawn to throw that smoke. Now, another really good smoke for mid control is you can go into this plank right here and go into the bottom left of this skinnier window and do a W jump throw. This is one of my personal favorite smokes to throw because it puts a lot of pressure on the mid players. This is going to allow you, if you want, to split through here on inside of A. Or if you want to just completely smoke off camera, you can get stuck right here in this position and do a simple jump throw right at this dot right here towards the lower left-hand corner of all these hieroglyphs. This should go all the way up and it's going to land right on the inside of the stairs here in camera, completely smoking it off to where it's not too lurky and you can just pass right through. So now moving on over to the CT side of things, I definitely recommend smoking this position off early on so that you're able to threaten for an early bridge peek. Now, there are instant spawn lineups for this, but I'm going to go ahead and show you an example where from this spawn in particular, you could throw an instant spawn smoke, but even though I'm delayed about half a second from that jump throw, I can still run all the way out here and throw my own smoke that's going to land pretty much at the exact same time or even beat that smoke. So why learn all those instant smokes when you can just throw it yourself? So generally the way I throw this on the fly is I'm just going to start running, and once I'm able to see this blue window, I'm just going to do a run throw right at it. So for example, altogether, it's just going to look something like this, right? And that is a very quick way to throw this. It goes super deep and it's pretty much your perfect smoke. If you are interested in instant smokes for the T side, I've linked a great video by Louis CS2 down below. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. I know that was a ton of information, but hopefully this gives you a giant overview of every single mid smoke you need to know for CS2. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like, comment, or maybe even consider subscribing. And if you really want to support me, go ahead and click that Skins Monkey link down in the description below.